What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing our mid-season Premier League predictions. So we've both made a rough table on this website where it lets you enter all the results. So obviously we're not going to predict the results correctly, but we've done it so we can kind of get a table of what we think, because it's long to make the graphics, you know what I mean? But we just went for this. Obviously, they ignore the points and the goal difference and stuff, but this is kind of who we think. This is what we think the
It's an estimate.
yeah, it's an estimate as he put it, I guess, and ruins my intro. Anyway, we'll put it on the screen for you. You don't really need to see the points, so the camera will cover the points for my table, which is the one on the right, and then his table was the one on the left. So we're going to talk about relegation teams. So here on his, he has Leeds, Bournemouth, and Southampton, and I have Everton, Southampton, and Bournemouth. Now, two in common. I think almost everyone would say Bournemouth and Southampton are going down.
Definitely.
I think Bournemouth are probably
Bournemouth are
the most guaranteed because they could stay up, but I just don't think they have enough quality.
They could.
Their defense is poor. Their manager is not exactly proven, is it? They sacked their manager.
They're not staying up.
They're not staying up. They did make a few signings and they spent some money, but I don't think those signings are necessarily going to keep them up. Southampton in a similar boat. They made a lot of signings. They signed a new striker, signed a new winger.
Yeah.
Again, that striker, he seems a bit dodgy. You know what I mean? Like, they got Che Adams, who don't score a lot of goals, which is the problem for Southampton. I think Bournemouth's problem is more they concede a lot of goals. Southampton aren't scoring as many, and their strikers.
Both of them are going down. They can't score or defend, either of them.
I think Southampton have more chance because they have better players.
Well, they signed because the winger that they signed. There was another team who's low in table who wanted him, and he chose to go there.
Fair enough. I think that Southampton will probably go down. They just don't have enough experience all over the pitch. They have a lot of young players, and that could seriously bother them, considering they probably wanted to sell those young players at some for a lot of money.
Yeah,
like
Labia, but now they can just get fleeced for them.
I mean, I still think they'll try and demand a decent bit of money, but I have Everton in there. Now that's probably the more controversial one. You have Leeds in there. Leeds.
I have Everton just above that. So.
Yeah, I know. I have Leeds just above that. So we both think they're both going to be in contention. I think the reason for Everton is they don't have a good striker. They don't score goals. They didn't sign anybody.
And they lost a player and didn't replace him.
They sold their best player, although he doesn't really score a lot of goals. So he scored like 3 goals in 40 appearances. He is overrated. He's not worth 60. I mean, maybe 40 million, but I don't know if he's worth 60. That Chelsea wanted to pay for him. Yeah, I just think even though Sean Dyche is a good manager and they have stuff to work with, like Conor Cody isn't bad, Tarkowski isn't bad, Godfrey is pretty good.
Well, their striker doesn't really. He doesn't. It looks like he doesn't even want to play.
I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin does want to play for Everton.
He's like Aubameyang.
Years ago. Well, he did want to leave it like last season or something, but they didn't sell him in the end. Leeds, why do you think they get relegated?
Well, I think they're not good. Their signings, I don't think, are really going to change.
McKennie play for Juventus. They made They made a few decent signings from like Leipzig, Leipzig, Salzburg. They bought some of those young players.
I think Leeds, Everton, Leicester, and Wolves.
I think
there'll be 1, 2, maybe 3 points between them and relegation.
I agree that group of teams, I think West Ham and Crystal Palace might get away, or at least West Ham. I'm not too sure about Crystal Palace. They could easily fall there as well because they don't have a lot of goal scorers. But I really think it depends whose signings hit the most. I think Leicester City are one to watch, bro. They could easily get relegated because
they shouldn't. No,
they shouldn't.
Have way better players on their team than Leeds.
Oh, really? I don't know if you're man for man. Like, it's Harvey Barnes and James Maddison.
I don't like their manager.
Brendan Rodgers. I think Brendan Rodgers is better than some of the other managers.
The only reason I got Everton coming out is because Sean Dyche went there, and I think he's good enough to get them.
I don't think the manager
1 point above the 18th.
I don't know. I think there's a chance they're Everton, but yeah. All right, let's talk about Champions League. Actually, let's talk about who's going to win first, the Premier League.
Man City.
So we both got Man City by like a few points.
Because they will beat Arsenal in both games. Arsenal also drop some points to like maybe Chelsea if they're... Because I got them 4th, so that means Chelsea are going to be much better in the second half. Therefore, they might get a draw, or they might even beat Arsenal.
I think that Arsenal are good, but they also, while they made like 3 signings, let's not pretend that Jorginho is suddenly this good. I don't understand why everybody
I don't
has
know.
suddenly gone and pretend like Jorginho is this world class player. Like he's okay, but we've seen you can easily exploit him. And Arsenal, I mean, they're good. I just think 1 or 2 injuries.
Yeah,
Still, they're in big trouble. I think Man City, even though they lost Cancelo, makes it more difficult. But
they've got enough players to fill that.
I just think that when it comes to the that clutch moment in the games where they play each other, Man City can beat them twice. I don't think
Definitely,
Arsenal
yeah.
will win both, and I think Arsenal can easily drop points. They still have to play Chelsea, Liverpool.
I don't think they'll win either of the games against Man City.
Neither do I, to be honest. But there is that. So we both going for Man City there. We both have Man United in third. I think Man United,
Yeah,
unless they totally bottle it, which they could, it's a Man United team. And again, if they get like an injury to Casemiro or something, then they're in big trouble.
because Sabit's not really. I don't think he really does much in that team.
I think he
He was
does what
just-
Ericsson did, to be honest.
Basically.
But he runs around a little bit more. Maybe he isn't as creative, but I still think he gives a bit more defensively, maybe a bit more.
I just don't think Man United are bad enough to where they'll drop out the top.
I agree. I don't think Man United are bad enough to lose ground of more than 10 points.
Yeah, especially when they got like Rashford is playing.
Well, Sancho is coming
Outrageous.
back, so Anthony doesn't have to stink up there anymore.
That is a waste of.
And
90
Fred is
mil.
playing better. Casemiro, as long as he doesn't get injured, their defense looks solid without Harry Maguire. So yeah. I
Oh,
think
that
that's-
was what the problem with their defense was, just having him in there.
I agree. So top 4, we both got Chelsea in there, which is probably biased, but I, it is probably biased. I think it is hopeful, but I think they will have a run.
Also, I think it's possible because
I mean-
they've brought in basically a new attack, one of the best midfielders, and he fits Chelsea like
Well,
he's probably the best fit that they could have bought.
true.
And Badia Shield's looking like a solid defender. Reece James and Chilwell are coming back, so they might even be able to get far in the
Kante
Champions
and
League as
Sterling
well.
are coming back. I mean, beating Dortmund in the Champions League, we can talk about that another time. I just think, Newcastle, while they are a good team, they have they have got lucky. Like, I'm not going to pretend like they haven't got lucky in some games, like Mitrovic tripping over his foot on a penalty, and then that doesn't count as a goal, and then they score at the last minute. I'm not saying that Chelsea don't get lucky. I just think eventually, clean sheet runs drop out, and it's not like
Yeah.
Newcastle have immense depth. I know they're
They
not
have-
in any competition, so they play like 1 or at max 2 games a week. Whereas if Chelsea stay in a Champions League, they might play more. I just think Chelsea have way more players that can add value. Whereas Anthony Gordon, while he's all right, he's not going to
Yeah.
score a lot of goals. And Almiron, while he was really good at the first half of the season, he's not scored any goals for a while. And let's not pretend he wasn't like championship quality.
Yeah,
last season,
exactly.
bro.
Like the Newcastle fans themselves were trying to like distance themselves away from having him.
Exactly. Man was a meme up until this season where he played good for like 2 months. So, yeah, I think Newcastle are the team that would drop out. I think Man United could drop out.
They could as well, yeah.
Um,
But I think it's more likely for Newcastle because Man United still have some players who can come on,
yeah.
whereas Newcastle will just-
Newcastle have to keep their whole team fit and they have to keep winning and they struggle to score goals. So it's like at Chelsea you can see that Mudrik's come, he can score some goals. You expect Kai Havertz to be more productive with
And
Enzo
just
Fernandez.
and
He'll create more chances. Madueke, Ziyech, Sterling, and then you'll be more solid with Badia Shield and Kante even and
when
Reece
Kante
James
comes
and
back.
all these people coming back. The team looks a lot more
Also,
solid.
Havertz will just get more chances.
To miss
with-
open goals, correct. Anyway, let's talk about Liverpool and Tottenham. We both have them 6th and 7th. I think Tottenham just don't have a good enough team overall. Pedro Porro they signed, not
Right.
really that proven.
45 mil.
45 mil for a right back. I just think even if your right back is really good, he could be the best right back in the league.
It's not changing
They
Tottenham.
still have a really shit other back four. Like Romero's alright, but Dyer's not really ever been good in my opinion.
No,
Ben Davis is like
he's even
really not good, and then Longley not good. Ryan Sessegnon is okay going forward, but he can't defend. So it's like that back
there. So it's
five.
like a B-Tech Trent.
I mean, he is kind of like a B-Tech trend. I mean, not really with the passing. He's not very good. And obviously, Emerson Royale is still in
He's
that club.
Awful. I think he's
I
terrible.
think obviously Harry Kane's good, and you can maybe expect Son to score some goals, but
Yeah,
I
because he
still
has been compared to last season.
To expect Son to suddenly turn it on, I think is a bit hopeful. And Tottenham still have a lot of big games they have to play, and they've come from behind a lot of times. They concede a lot more goals than you would expect them to. At least Conte to.
Well, because their defense is awful.
With Liverpool, I think if they get few like Jota, Diaz back from injury, Van Dijk, they could go on a run. The reason I have Liverpool sixth, I mean Gakpo is gonna be good, I think, but they can go on a run because they have the team to go on a run and win like 10 games
and
in
their
a row.
manager is Klopp, so
exactly. I think they still have a chance to get top 4. I just think they're not consistent enough. And Chelsea bought in a bunch of players, whereas Liverpool
they didn't
bring in anyone really. So yeah, obviously we both have Brighton and Brentford staying kind of 8, 9,
top 9,
and Villa, Fulham, West Ham. So
yeah, I got Fulham dropping off a bit.
Final predictions. We're both going City to win.
Yeah.
Arsenal in second, Manchester United in third, and Chelsea in fourth.
That is the top 4.
We're going Newcastle 5th and Liverpool and Tottenham 6th and 7th. I think that's good enough. From this point, it doesn't really matter up until 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Well, I think it matters until 15th.
Yeah, I know, but which three are you picking? Are you staying with those? Are you saying anyone else?
I will stick with those 3, but Leicester, Everton, Wolves could easily just drop into that.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I think Bournemouth and Southampton, but I want to be different. And I say Everton. I just think they don't have. I think they could stay up. I actually kind of like Everton as a club as well.
And they've never been relegated.
No, they haven't. I just don't think Leeds are that bad. I think Forest will scrape it. I think Leicester are the real one to watch out.
Leicester are.
Even Crystal Palace, I would say they are in a bit of trouble.
I think,
but they have enough points on the board at the moment to where, and they're hard to beat. But they'll
draw a lot.
Yeah, so. I think so too. But yeah, let's do a quick top scorer prediction. Haaland has already won it, in my opinion. I don't think Kane's jumping 10 goals on him. That's even harder than jumping 10 points. He's going to continue
scoring as well.
Exactly. Player of the season?
Depends who wins.
But you think he's going to win?
His City win, I think, is probably going to be Haaland.
I think it's Haaland. Manager of the year?
If
it's not going to... Even if Man City win, Guardiola won't win it. I think if Newcastle even finish 5th, they'll probably give it to Eddie Howe.
Brentford
finish 8th or 9th, Thomas Frank
has an argument for it.
I think Arteta as well, even if he doesn't win, might win it.
But I think they'll probably give it to Eddie Howe if he finishes 5th.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty good, solid predictions, I think, from both of us. We'll review it at the end of the season and see who got more right.
And see West Ham in a relegation or something.
Yeah, somehow like West Ham, I just have a feeling Nottingham Forest could just implode too with all their players. But I like Nottingham Forest too. Yeah. Like Everton and Nottingham Forest are my
I don't want them to go down.
They're 2 clubs I don't mind. Whereas I don't like Bournemouth because they seem to beat Chelsea all the time. Southampton, I don't care about them. Leeds, no one likes Leeds either. So Wolves are annoying, and Leicester City, I don't care about them either. So yeah, well, that's our predictions. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with us? Probably not. Everyone's going to roast us for having Chelsea in 4th, probably.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's the end of the video. We'll see you all in the next one.